Your life changes the moment you decide, not when circumstances improve. Many people wait for the perfect conditions before taking action, but conditions rarely change on their own. Decisions create momentum, and momentum changes conditions. When you decide who you're going to be, your behavior starts aligning with that decision almost automatically. Waiting keeps you stuck in the same cycle, but deciding forces movement. A decision is a line you draw between your past and your future. Once that line is drawn, everything on the other side demands a different version of you, one who acts with intention instead of reaction. Most people believe their environment controls their outcomes, but in reality, their decisions do. Two people can grow up in the same home, face the same challenges, and experience completely different lives because they decided differently. Circumstances may influence you, but they do not define you unless you allow them to. The moment you take ownership of your choices, you reclaim your power. Responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom. When you stop blaming external factors, you gain the ability to shape your future with deliberate, focused decisions that align with your desired outcomes. Indecision is one of the most expensive habits a person can have. It silently drains time, energy, and opportunity. When you hesitate, life does not pause, it moves forward without you. Every day you delay making a decision is a day you reinforce the identity of someone who waits. Decisive people are not always right, but they are always moving. Movement creates feedback, and feedback creates growth. Even imperfect decisions can be adjusted, but no progress can be made without first choosing a direction and committing to forward motion. Decisions are powerful because they shape identity. You do not become confident and then decide to act. You decide to act, and confidence follows. Identity is built through repeated choices, not feelings. Every decision you make is a vote for the type of person you are becoming. When you choose discipline over comfort, you reinforce the identity of someone who is serious about growth. When you choose avoidance, you strengthen the identity of someone who runs from responsibility. Your future self is being constructed one decision at a time. Many people underestimate how small decisions compound over time. A single choice may not seem significant in the moment, but repeated daily, it creates massive results. Choosing to learn for 30 minutes a day may feel insignificant, yet over a year, it completely transforms your thinking. Choosing to procrastinate today seems harmless, but repeated often, it becomes a lifestyle. Life is not usually changed by one dramatic decision, but by a series of consistent, intentional ones that move you closer to your vision. Fear often disguises itself as logic when people avoid decisions. They say they need more information, more time, or more confidence, but underneath is the fear of responsibility. Making a decision means accepting the outcome, and that can feel uncomfortable. However, avoiding decisions does not eliminate risk, it only guarantees stagnation. Growth requires discomfort, and discomfort is the price of progress. When you understand that fear is a signal of expansion rather than danger, you become more willing to decide and move forward. Your decision-making ability improves with practice. Just like a muscle, it grows stronger the more you use it. People who struggle with decisions often have a history of deferring responsibility to others. When you begin making choices intentionally, you develop clarity and self-trust. You start learning from outcomes instead of judging yourself for them. This builds internal confidence because you know you can handle the results of your choices. Decisive individuals trust themselves to adjust, adapt, and grow regardless of the outcome. One of the most powerful decisions you can make is deciding what you will no longer tolerate. Growth often begins not with what you start doing, but with what you stop accepting. You decide that certain behaviors, relationships, or habits no longer align with the future you want. This creates boundaries that protect your progress. When you remove distractions and negative influences, you create space for focus and growth. Saying no is a decision that reinforces self-respect and clarifies your priorities. Clarity does not precede decision, it follows it. Many people wait to feel certain before choosing, but certainty is a byproduct of commitment. Once you decide, your mind begins looking for ways to support that decision. Focus sharpens, opportunities become visible, and confidence increases. Decision creates alignment between your thoughts, actions, and goals. Without commitment, the mind remains scattered. With commitment, energy becomes concentrated, making progress not only possible but inevitable. Every major breakthrough in life begins with a decision to change direction. No transformation happens accidentally. You decide to take control of your health, your finances, your mindset, or your purpose. That decision may be quiet and private, but it is powerful. It shifts your internal posture from passive to proactive. Once that shift occurs, your actions begin to reflect your new standard. Change does not require permission. It requires a decision backed by consistent action. Excuses lose their power when decisions are made from identity instead of emotion. When you decide who you are, actions become non-negotiable. You no longer rely on motivation because motivation is inconsistent. Identity-based decisions create consistency. You act not because you feel like it, but because it is who you have decided to be. This removes internal debate and conserves mental energy. Discipline becomes simpler when it is rooted in identity rather than willpower. People often confuse confidence with certainty, but confidence is simply the willingness to act despite uncertainty. Decisions train you to trust yourself in unknown situations. Life will never provide all the answers up front. Progress requires moving forward with partial information. When you accept this, decision-making becomes easier. You stop trying to predict every outcome and focus instead on controlling your effort, attitude, and adaptability. This mindset transforms uncertainty from an obstacle into an opportunity for growth. Your results are delayed reflections of past decisions. If you are dissatisfied with your current situation, it is not a reason for shame, but a signal for change. The fastest way to alter your future is to change the quality of your decisions today. Awareness creates choice, and choice creates power. When you take responsibility for your decisions, you stop feeling trapped by circumstances. You recognize that even small changes in daily choices can redirect the trajectory of your life. Decisions also influence the people around you. When you decide to grow, you give others permission to do the same. Your commitment raises the standard of your environment. Conversely, indecision can spread hesitation and doubt. Leadership begins with personal decision-making. When your actions align with your words, credibility is built naturally. People are drawn to those who move with purpose and clarity because it signals strength and self-belief. Ultimately, your life will always move in the direction of your strongest decisions, not your wishes, not your intentions, but your choices. Every day presents opportunities to decide again, to recommit, and to realign with the future you want. Decisions are not one-time events, they are ongoing practices. Each choice reinforces momentum or resistance. The power to change your life is not hidden or reserved for a select few. It is exercised daily through deliberate, intentional decisions. Most people think their environment dictates their success, but that is a misconception. Your surroundings may influence you, but they do not determine your outcomes unless you allow them to. Two people can experience the same conditions and yet live vastly different lives because of the choices they make. Environment only becomes powerful when it is coupled with decision. When you choose to take ownership of your life, you neutralize limiting surroundings. You begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles. Influence becomes something you control, not something that controls you. Decisions empower you to rise above circumstance. The quality of your environment can accelerate or hinder your growth, but it is your response that truly matters. Being in a room full of high achievers pushes you to think bigger and raise your standards. Exposure to success teaches what is possible and expands belief. Conversely, remaining in environments that tolerate mediocrity limits your vision and your ambition. The people, information, and culture you consistently engage with shape your thinking. Choose environments that challenge you, provoke thought, and demand more from you. When your surroundings push you upward, your potential unfolds faster than you could achieve alone. Many fail to recognize the subtle power of influence in daily interactions. Conversations, media, and habits accumulate quietly, molding your mindset over time. Small choice about what you consume determine your expectations and beliefs. Positive, growth-oriented input nurtures creativity, confidence, and problem solving, while negative or stagnant input fosters fear and limitation. Influence is not always loud or obvious, but its effects are cumulative and profound. By intentionally surrounding yourself with ideas, people, and experiences that uplift and challenge, you gradually reprogram your thinking. Your environment can either be a cage or a launch pad, depending on how consciously you interact with it. Your environment also affects your emotional state and resilience. Negative settings often reinforce doubt, insecurity, and hesitation, making it easier to justify inaction. Positive, ambitious environments, however, cultivate courage, determination, and persistence, creating a fertile ground for growth. Energy is contagious, and the collective mindset of those around you seeps into your own thinking. Emotional support, accountability, and mentorship accelerate progress in ways effort alone cannot achieve. By curating your environment, you ensure your emotional and mental energy is directed toward growth rather than depletion. Awareness of these influences is the first step toward intentional transformation. Consistency is amplified or diminished by your surroundings. Habits form faster when they are supported by the environment. A focused workspace, accountability partners, and access to learning resources all reinforce productive behaviors. In contrast, distractions, negative influences, and toxic relationships erode consistency and drain willpower. The path to success is not only about knowledge or skills, but also about creating conditions that support sustainable action. By designing an environment that naturally encourages your desired behaviors, you make success inevitable. Every small adjustment in your surroundings compounds, over time, either propelling you forward or holding you back. Opportunities often arise from environments that expose you to new ideas and perspectives. Being present in spaces where ambitious people converge opens doors that would remain invisible otherwise. Networking, mentorship, collaboration, and observation are amplified in the right environment. Ideas that once seemed distant or impossible become attainable. Exposure creates awareness, and awareness fosters innovation. By strategically positioning yourself where growth-oriented activity is happening, you gain insight and leverage that would be unavailable in isolation. The environment becomes a mirror reflecting the possibilities available to those willing to engage proactively. Your environment is also a teacher. It reveals strengths you did not know you had and exposes weaknesses that require attention. By observing how others navigate challenges, you learn strategies to overcome obstacles in your own life. Immersing yourself in success-oriented spaces accelerates learning and development. Environments provide feedback, sometimes subtle, sometimes stark, that helps you recalibrate. The people, systems, and culture around you act as mirrors and mentors simultaneously. The more consciously you choose your environment, the more intentional your growth becomes. Your surroundings, when aligned with your goals, become a silent partner in your success journey. Ultimately, taking control of your environment is about prioritizing alignment over comfort. Growth rarely occurs in familiar or easy settings. It requires intentional placement in spaces that challenge and stretch you. Removing yourself from negative or stagnant conditions creates room for progress and clarity. Every decision about where to invest your time, energy, and attention compounds, shaping your identity and future. By curating the right environment, you position yourself to absorb knowledge, adopt productive habits, and accelerate success. The environments you choose become the foundation upon which your life unfolds, supporting or sabotaging your long-term results. Indecision is one of the most subtle yet destructive forces in life. It disguises itself as careful consideration, patience, or prudence, but in reality, it quietly erodes opportunity. Every day spent wavering, postponing, or avoiding responsibility chips away at potential. Life does not pause while you deliberate. It moves relentlessly forward, leaving hesitation behind. Those who succeed are not necessarily more knowledgeable or talented. They are decisive. Decisions, even imperfect ones, generate momentum, clarity, and growth. The act of choosing forces your mind and your circumstances to align with the path forward, creating feedback that can be refined and leveraged for greater results. Fear often masquerades as logic, convincing you that more information are perfect. Timing is required before making a choice. This fear of responsibility keeps many people trapped in perpetual inaction. The unknown is intimidating, yet waiting does not reduce risk, it ensures stagnation. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. Every significant achievement originates from a decision to move forward, even when outcomes are uncertain. When you recognize fear as a natural signal of expansion, it becomes a guide rather than a barrier, and you learn to take action in alignment with growth. Indecision undermines self-confidence because it trains your mind to doubt your abilities. Every time you defer a decision, you reinforce the belief that you are not capable of handling outcomes. Conversely, making consistent choices, even small ones, strengthens self-trust. You learn that mistakes are not failures, but lessons that guide future decisions. Confidence is built through repeated acts of decision-making and accountability. As you take control of the decisions in your life, you develop resilience and an internal sense of authority. Decisive people trust themselves to handle both success and setbacks without losing momentum or clarity. Small daily decisions have enormous cumulative power. They may appear insignificant in isolation, yet over time they compound to create remarkable results. Choosing to invest time in learning, health, or networking for just 30 minutes a day gradually transforms your capabilities and mindset. Similarly, small decisions to avoid procrastination or negative habits accumulate to define character and discipline. The trajectory of your life is shaped not by occasional monumental decisions, but by the consistent, intentional choices you make day after day. Recognizing the compounding effect of these decisions allows you to approach each day with purpose and intentionality. Decisions also influence your environment and relationships. The choices you make set standards for how others interact with you and the energy that surrounds you. Decisive people create momentum not only in their own lives, but also in the lives of those around them. Their clarity and commitment inspire trust, respect, and cooperation. Conversely, indecision fosters hesitation, doubt, and stagnation in both personal and professional circles. Understanding the ripple effect of your decisions encourages mindfulness in every action. Your choices extend beyond yourself, shaping the atmosphere, expectations, and opportunities present in your environment and social interactions. Clarity is not a prerequisite for decision. It is the result. Many wait to feel certain before acting, but certainty emerges after commitment. Once you decide, your mind focuses on solutions, resources, and strategies to support that choice. Direction replaces confusion and energy consolidates around purposeful action. Waiting for perfect clarity is a trap because it often never arrives. Decision triggers alignment between thought, action, and circumstance. The act of committing creates a momentum that clarifies the path as you move. Confidence grows not from complete knowledge, but from deliberate and consistent action in pursuit of a chosen direction. Decisions cultivate a sense of ownership and responsibility that transforms identity. People who habitually decide for themselves develop autonomy and resilience. Each decision reinforces the kind of person you are becoming. Identity is constructed through repeated choices rather than external validation or fleeting motivation. When you make decisions grounded in your goals and values, you internalize standards that guide future behavior. This self-reinforcing loop of decision and identity creates predictability and control in life, allowing you to navigate uncertainty with confidence. Over time, decisiveness becomes a core characteristic, shaping both actions and outcomes in profound ways. Finally, indecision delays growth and success because it prevents you from experiencing consequences and feedback. Progress requires testing, learning, and adjusting, which only occurs when choices are made and acted upon. Each decision provides information, experience, and momentum that cannot be gained through inaction. Waiting for certainty or perfect conditions deprives you of learning opportunities and slows evolution. The most successful people recognize that action precedes mastery. They understand that forward motion, even imperfect, generates clarity, competence, and opportunity. Decisive action creates a cycle of growth that compounds over time, accelerating results and building the foundation for long-term achievement. Value creation is the cornerstone of success, yet many people misunderstand it. They believe effort alone, long hours, or mere participation guarantees results. But the marketplace rewards outcomes, solutions, and tangible benefits. People will pay for transformation, not time. The more you can solve meaningful problems for others, the more your value increases. Developing high-value skills, understanding customer needs, and delivering results separates those who succeed from those who struggle. True wealth is generated when you become indispensable. Your income and influence are directly proportional to the value you provide, and the process begins with intentional skill development and expertise. Most individuals fail to recognize that value is not static. It grows exponentially with skill, experience, and reputation. Learning without application is wasted effort. To create value, you must combine knowledge with action. Practical application demonstrates competency and builds trust. The more problems you solve, the more people rely on your expertise. Your reputation becomes a multiplier for your value, attracting opportunities and partnerships. Specialization in areas that directly impact others' lives accelerates success. By continuously refining your abilities and expanding your capacity to solve bigger problems, you position yourself as a go-to resource, making your influence and income inevitable consequences of the value you deliver. Value creation begins with understanding the needs and desires of those you serve. Observing, listening, and empathizing are critical to identifying problems worth solving. Most people focus on what they want to offer rather than what others need. Providing value requires perspective, solving challenges that matter, and deliver meaningful results. When you align your skills with the problems of your audience, you create leverage. People naturally pay for solutions that improve their lives. The deeper your understanding of their pain points and aspirations, the higher the value of your offering. Impact is created when skills meet meaningful demand. Delivering exceptional value requires consistency and commitment. Occasional success is insufficient to build trust or long-term results. Value must be delivered repeatedly and reliably. Businesses, relationships, and influence are all strengthened when people see consistent results. Consistency signals competence, builds credibility, and encourages loyalty. Systems, habits, and processes support sustainable value creation. By establishing routines that ensure reliable results, you embed excellence into your approach. Incremental improvements compounded over time elevate your offerings. The ability to deliver high-quality outcomes consistently differentiates those who thrive from those who plateau, and it becomes a defining characteristic of lasting success. High-value individuals focus on solving bigger problems rather than minor inconveniences. Small contributions are appreciated but rarely rewarded significantly. When you scale your impact to solve complex, pressing challenges, your value multiplies. Understanding the leverage in addressing issues that affect many people or critical outcomes magnifies your influence and income potential. Leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs identify areas where solutions create disproportionate benefit and direct their efforts there. By shifting focus from minor tasks to high-impact results, you maximize efficiency and returns. Your expertise becomes indispensable, and people naturally seek your guidance and services because of the magnitude of the problems you solve. Innovation is a natural byproduct of value creation. As you engage with challenges, you begin to see opportunities for improvement, efficiency, and differentiation, problem solving. NG encourages creative thinking, new methods, and alternative strategies that others may overlook. The more complex the problem you address, the more innovative your solutions must be. Innovation distinguishes you from competition and adds premium value to your offerings. People pay not just for results, but for superior, novel solutions that deliver better outcomes. Continuous learning, observation, and iteration become essential habits for those who aim to maximize their value and remain indispensable in any market or environment. The perception of value is as important as its actual creation. People often undervalue their own skills or offerings because they focus solely on the work rather than the results it produces. Articulating outcomes clearly, demonstrating measurable impact, and communicating the benefits to those you serve enhances perceived value. Confidence in your ability to solve problems influences how others perceive your worth. Marketing, presentation, and storytelling amplify the real value you provide. By mastering both the creation and communication of value, you unlock opportunities that might otherwise remain inaccessible, increasing demand for your skills and solidifying your reputation as a results-driven individual. Finally, value creation is a lifelong practice, not a one-time event. The most successful people continually refine their skills, expand their knowledge, and adapt to evolving needs. Complacency reduces perceived and actual value over time. By committing to growth, learning, and responsiveness, you ensure your contributions remain relevant and impactful. Value compounds as expertise, experience, and trust accumulate. Those who consistently focus on increasing their capacity to solve meaningful problems find themselves sought after, rewarded, and respected. The act of creating value, when done intentionally and persistently, become the engine that drives income, influence, and long-term success. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement, yet it is often misunderstood. Many believe discipline is an external force or a matter of sheer willpower, but it is a habit, a structured approach to consistent action. Dreams remain unfulfilled not because people lack talent or ideas, but because they fail to follow through consistently. Discipline transforms potential into results. It requires showing up even when motivation wanes, resisting distractions, and committing to the process regardless of feelings. The cumulative effect of small, disciplined actions compounds over time, producing results far greater than occasional bursts of effort or inspiration. Consistency in action is the heart of discipline. It is not enough to work hard sporadically or only when energy is high. Success favors those who develop non-negotiable routines that reinforce their priorities. Daily actions, repeated without exception, shape habits, character, and outcomes. Discipline turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results because it enforces continuity and focus. Without consistent practice, knowledge and skill remain latent, untested, and incomplete. Developing discipline is about creating structures and systems that make execution inevitable. The more you internalize this consistency, the less dependent you are on external motivation or fleeting bursts of enthusiasm. Discipline requires prioritization and focus, which are learned skills. Most people expend energy on low-value activities, chasing urgent but unimportant tasks while ignoring what truly drives results. Discipline demands clarity about what matters most and the courage to eliminate distractions. By dedicating time and energy to high-impact activities, you accelerate progress. This often involves saying no repeatedly to comfort, convenience, or social pressures in order to say yes to growth. Prioritization ensures that effort aligns with long-term goals rather than short-term gratification. Focused, disciplined action multiplies results and creates a sense of control and mastery over one's life and circumstances. Self-regulation is a critical component of discipline. Emotional impulses, procrastination, and instant gratification are natural tendencies that undermine progress. Discipline teaches you to pause, assess, and respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. By managing your emotions, energy, and attention, you maintain direction even when circumstances are challenging or distracting. It is the ability to delay immediate pleasure for long-term gain. People who master self-regulation consistently outperform those who rely solely on talent or intelligence. Discipline transforms reactive behavior into proactive execution, allowing you to persist through setbacks, resist temptations, and stay aligned with your goals regardless of temporary discomfort. Discipline also strengthens resilience and perseverance. Life presents obstacles, setbacks, and unexpected challenges, and motivation alone is insufficient to sustain action. Consistent, disciplined effort enables you to weather difficulties without losing progress. Each disciplined choice builds momentum, reinforcing confidence and competence. The act of staying committed despite adversity cultivates a mental toughness that is critical for long-term achievement. Resilient individuals view obstacles as signals to double down, not excuses to quit. Discipline ensures that effort continues uninterrupted, creating a compounding effect that allows challenges to be overcome and goals to be achieved even when circumstances seem unfavorable. Accountability enhances discipline by introducing external checks and reinforcement, while self-discipline is vital. Surrounding yourself with systems, mentors, or peers who demand follow-through accelerates progress. Public commitments, performance metrics, and feedback loops create structure that sustains action and minimizes procrastination. Accountability provides clarity, pressure, and focus, ensuring that effort is consistent and aligned with objectives. It transforms intentions into measurable outcomes and discourages complacency. When combined with personal responsibility, accountability creates a powerful engine for results, making disciplined execution more reliable and less dependent on fluctuating moods, energy levels, or fleeting motivation. Discipline is also about incremental improvement and refinement. Consistent action provides feedback that allows for adjustments, optimization, and skill enhancement. Without discipline, learning remains theoretical and effort is wasted. Repetition, evaluation, and adaptation are fundamental to mastery, and discipline ensures this cycle continues. Small, disciplined improvements compound over time, creating exponential growth in ability, confidence, and results. Those who embrace continuous disciplined effort move faster, adapt better, and outperform competitors who rely solely on talent or inspiration. The practice of disciplined refinement converts ordinary individuals into high performers capable of sustaining excellence over long periods. Finally, discipline shapes identity and character. The choices you make consistently define who you become, far more than isolated achievements or fleeting motivation. Each disciplined action reinforces the identity of someone committed, reliable, and capable. Over time, discipline becomes automatic, embedded in habits, and reflected in behavior, creating an internal standard that guides future decisions. This internalization makes success sustainable because it no longer relies solely on external factors or transient feelings. By embedding discipline into your life, you cultivate a foundation that supports long-term achievement, personal growth, and the consistent realization of goals through deliberate, focused action. Opportunities are rarely handed to those who wait passively. They are discovered by those who actively position themselves to see and seize them. Most people fail to recognize the subtle openings in everyday life because they are distracted, unprepared, or unsure of their direction. Opportunity favors the observant, the proactive, and the prepared. By cultivating awareness and staying engaged in meaningful environments, you increase your chances of encountering possibilities that others overlook. Success is not a matter of luck, but of positioning, timing, and readiness. Recognizing opportunity requires a combination of insight, courage, and decisive action that turns potential into reality. Preparation amplifies the impact of opportunity. Many people fail not because opportunities do not exist, but because they are unprepared to capitalize on them. Knowledge, skill, and readiness are prerequisites for turning a moment into a breakthrough. The more you invest in your personal growth, competence, and awareness, the better equipped you are to respond when circumstances align. Preparation transforms chance encounters into leverageable situations. Opportunities often appear disguised as challenges or unfamiliar situations. By consistently refining your abilities and expanding your understanding, you increase the likelihood that when doors open, you are capable of walking through them confidently and effectively. Opportunity often requires action before certainty. Most people hesitate because they fear failure or lack complete information, but waiting for perfect conditions ensures missed chances. The proactive individual recognizes that momentum comes from engagement, not deliberation. Acting decisively in uncertain conditions creates a feedback loop, generating insight, confidence, and new possibilities. Small steps taken consistently compound into significant outcomes. The courage to act when conditions are imperfect distinguishes those who achieve from those who stagnate. Opportunity is a catalyst for growth, but only if met with readiness, decisiveness, and persistence that turns fleeting moments into transformative experiences. Networking and relationships are crucial conduits for opportunity. Most opportunities are not discovered in isolation. They are revealed through connections, collaboration, and shared insight. Surrounding yourself with growth-oriented individuals exposes you to new ideas, experiences, and openings that would otherwise remain invisible. Meaningful engagement, mutual value exchange, and consistent presence in the right circles multiply access to opportunities. People who understand this cultivate relationships intentionally, not superficially. By contributing value and building trust, doors open naturally. The network you create becomes a living ecosystem where opportunities circulate, and your ability to identify and act on them is enhanced through the collective intelligence and insight of those around you. Opportunity often involves recognizing patterns and anticipating trends. Insight comes from observation, analysis, and experience. Those who succeed are able to detect shifts in behavior, markets, or circumstances before others notice. This foresight allows proactive positioning, enabling them to leverage opportunities as they emerge. Understanding underlying dynamics and predicting potential outcomes increases the probability of success. Opportunity is rarely accidental. It favors the prepared, the knowledgeable, and the attentive. By sharpening perception, cultivating critical thinking, and staying informed, you develop the capacity to not just react to opportunities, but to anticipate and create them, turning awareness into a strategic advantage. Timing and execution are essential to transforming opportunity into results. Many fail because they recognize potential but delay action. Opportunity is transient. Hesitation allows others to claim what could have been yours. Decisive, timely action differentiates those who achieve from those who merely observe. Success depends not only on recognizing possibilities, but also on executing effectively when the moment arises. By practicing discipline, planning, and agility, you increase the likelihood of capitalizing on favorable circumstances. Opportunity and preparation alone are insufficient. They must be coupled with bold, precise execution to generate tangible outcomes and measurable success. Risk is an inherent component of opportunity. Every meaningful chance carries uncertainty, and avoidance of risk often results in stagnation. Understanding and managing risk is essential to seizing opportunities without being reckless. Calculated risk-taking separates individuals who achieve breakthroughs from those who remain comfortable but unfulfilled. By assessing potential outcomes, preparing contingencies, and committing decisively, you convert risk into leverage. Opportunity demands courage, the willingness to act despite fear, uncertainty, or potential failure. The intersection of preparation, insight, and bold action allows risk to become a vehicle for growth rather than a deterrent, transforming challenges into catalysts for advancement. Opportunity also requires resilience and adaptability. Circumstances rarely unfold exactly as planned, and obstacles will appear along the path. Those who succeed are able to pivot, adjust, and continue moving toward the objective despite setbacks. Flexibility allows you to maintain forward momentum and capitalize on opportunities even when conditions change. Persistence, combined with strategic adaptation, ensures that fleeting possibilities are not lost due to temporary difficulties. By cultivating mental toughness, resourcefulness, and problem-solving skills, you increase your ability to recognize alternative pathways, seize hidden openings, and convert potential into actualized success, ensuring that opportunity consistently translates into tangible results.